Today, we're diving into one of the most common yet surprisingly complex medications out there, diuretics.
Yeah, you've probably heard them called water pills. But, that really simple name kind of hides this incredibly sophisticated process that's happening deep inside our bodies.
I mean, these drugs are absolute workhorses in medicine. They're critical for so many conditions. But if you ever stop to wonder, what are they actually doing? How does one tiny pill convince your body to get rid of so much excess fluid? Well, that's the big question we're going to tackle today.
And to find the answer, we have to take a little journey. We're going to go inside the kidney's microscopic filtration factory, this tiny, unbelievably powerful unit called the nephron.
All right, so first things first. What exactly are water pills? Before we head into the factory, let's just make sure we're all on the same page about what a diuretic is, and just as importantly, what it isn't.
So, at its core, a diuretic is any drug that makes you produce more urine. But here's the secret. The real trick, they don't actually target water directly. Nope. Their true mission is to stop the body from reabsorbing salt. Because in our bodies, there's this one fundamental rule. Where salt goes, water is absolutely sure to follow.
Okay, time to step inside. The main factory floor of the kidney is the nephron. And get this, you have about 1 million of these microscopic powerhouses in each of your kidneys. This is where all the magic happens.
And the efficiency of this factory, it is just staggering. Look at this number, 53 minutes. In less than an hour, your kidneys filter your entire supply of blood. It is a relentless, non-stop, high-speed operation.
So here's the basic roadmap for our little journey. Fluid gets pushed out of the blood, and then it goes through this long series of specialized workshops where the body carefully decides what to keep and what to toss. And each one of these stages is a potential target where our diuretic tools can step in and change the game. So I want you to think of the different types of diuretics as a set of specialized tools in a toolbox. Each tool is designed to work at a very specific station in this kidney factory, and it interferes with the process in its own unique way. Let's start with the most powerful tools in the box, loop diuretics. These are the heavy lifters. They're the ones you bring out when you need to get rid of a lot of fluid and fast. And they work in that salt loop we saw on our map, the loop of Henle.
So how do they pull this off? Well, loop diuretics target a very specific doorway. It's a co-transporter that's designed to pull sodium, potassium, and chloride all back into the body. And these drugs work by basically slamming that door shut. So what happens? All those salts get trapped in the urine and they pull a massive amount of water out with them, along with other things like calcium and magnesium.
You've probably heard some of these names before, right? Especially if you're a CMID, which you might know by its brand name, Lasix. They're all part of the same powerful, heavy lifting family.
Okay, let's move to our next tool. This one works a little further down the assembly line, in what we call the final polish section, or the distal tubule. These are the thiazide diuretics. And if the loop diuretics were a sledgehammer, these are more like a fine-tuning tool.
Thiazides also work by blocking a salt transporter, but it's a different one. This one only moves sodium and chloride. The result is a more moderate, but still very effective, increase in urine. This is what makes them so great for long-term management instead of just emergencies.
And right here is where we see a fascinating and absolutely crucial difference. Remember how loop diuretics make you lose calcium? Well, thiazides do the exact opposite. They actually help the body hold on to its calcium. And believe me, this one little detail is often the deciding factor when the doctor has to choose the right tool for the job.
And finally, we have our most specialized tools, the savers. You see, those other diuretics can cause a pretty serious problem, the loss of too much potassium. These drugs, just like their name says, are designed specifically to stop that from happening.
And they save potassium in two really clever ways. Some of them, like spironolactone, block a hormone called aldosterone. It's like cutting the phone line that tells the kidney to waste potassium. Others, like amiloride, are more direct. They physically block the specific sodium channel that's linked to kicking potassium out. Same goal, totally different strategies.
So, we've got our toolbox. We have a heavy lifter, a fine-tuning tool, and a saver. Now, let's take a look at how doctors match the right tool to the right job. And the logic here is actually pretty clear. For a real emergency, like fluid building up in the lungs, you need the raw power of a heavy-lifting loop diuretic. For steady, long-term blood pressure control, the precision of a thiazide is perfect.
And to protect those potassium levels, the savers are often added to work in combination with the other two. Using these tools is an incredibly powerful way to manage fluid, for sure. But it is also a very delicate balancing act. When you start meddling with the body's finely tuned system of salt and water, there can be consequences.
This is exactly why careful monitoring is so important. Because these drugs are so good at their job, they can cause you to lose too much potassium. And by getting rid of so much fluid, blood pressure can drop too low, which can lead to dizziness. These aren't just random side effects. They're the direct, logical result of how these powerful tools work.
And it's so critical to remember where these drugs are doing all their work, in the kidneys. So if a person's kidneys are already struggling, the dose has to be adjusted with extreme care. This is precision medicine. It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution.
So we've gone from calling them simple water pills, but understanding them as a whole toolbox of sophisticated molecular instruments. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As we continue to map out every last pipe and valve in the kidney's intricate factory, what will the next generation of these tools even look like? How much more precisely will we be able to tune the fundamental, delicate balance of life itself?